One of the best things you can do for a friend or family member who is a creative type, who's shown you something that they've put together, something they've crafted or something they've made, the best thing to do is to be attentive, to look at the thing and give them your thoughts, your honest thoughts, good and bad. So some years ago I started to learn how to put together what I will call graphic designs. Just as a hobby. I've never charged for it. I don't think I'm great and I've never done it professionally, but I do take pride in the fact that I've grown and developed. But one of the things that really kind of put me off a little bit was just the absolute lack of feedback, the lack of any kind of thought on it. And, it's very easy to just put it down to not being very good. But it does hurt because the way that I see it is if someone sent me something that they'd put together, especially if it was something for me personally, even if I didn't like it, I just wouldn't be able to dismiss it. I'd want that person to know that they've at least seen it. So it did kind of hurt that nobody was doing that for me. I mean, even if it was terrible, then, that would have been good feedback. I mean, some people do, criticize for the sake of criticizing, but constructive criticism is always great. It's always welcome. It's better than fake praise, in my opinion. And I never put it down to like people being busy, because the way I saw it was if they were too busy to look at it now, they would have cared enough to save it and look at it at another time, but they never did. So it kind of knocked my confidence a little bit. But every so often I would get someone contact me after a long period of time and they'd bring up the things that I've made for them and say, oh yeah, I remember that was quite nice. And I just remember sitting there thinking, why couldn't you have said something at the time? Reactions are very, very important. So whenever someone shares something with me that they've made, whether it be a poem or a piece of art or a story, I do go out of my way to take a look at it. I do make sure the person knows that I've seen it, and if I can't see it now, that I'll look at it later when I've got more time. And even if it's something I don't really like, I'm very flattered if someone trusts me with that kind of thing. And so I do go out of my way to let them know, and I try and generate a conversation with what they've made. And obviously online it's much more difficult because you're not face to face and you don't have those facial expressions. So what I do is I will send like a video message or something, or an audio message, which to be fair is my default way of talking anyway. But even if I'm just texting, I try to be animated because I want that person to know that the effort and time they've put into that thing is something that I appreciate, and I want them to feel motivated to do it again. I want them to feel confident enough to trust me with what they've made in the future, because I do find creative types interesting. So, apologies for the groggy voice, but if someone ever shares your creativity with you, at least show an interest. My sort of goal, I suppose, with my stuff that I do, not that I put myself up there with any of the great sort of creatives that I know, but it's to find people that I can make things to really improve their day, or things to generate conversation topics, or maybe just to impress them. Maybe even, we can work out some kind of long-term collaboration thing. And I'm still very much open to this, but I have to admit, because of the lack of sort of interest in my stuff, I suppose, or visible interest, it's, I don't feel I haven't found someone yet that I feel confident enough to do that with. Because the way I see it is, if my work in any way had interested them, I would know about it.